Good afternoon, students. We start with another chapter of marketing management that's dealing with business markets and business buyer behavior. When we talk about business markets, they are known as industrial or organizational markets. We had seen consumer, we have considered consumer as markets, consumer markets. We have studied the consumer buying behavior. Now we are going to study about business markets. There are so many businesses that are interdependent on each other for basic raw materials and other things. So when they make purchases, when they decide to avail the services, they are known as business markets. When we talk about business markets, they are industrial or organizational markets and refer to the marketplaces where organizations purchase goods, services and raw materials to support their further operations. So consumers buy the product for their self-consumptions. Business markets, in business markets, transactions are taking place for support of their further business transactions, right? To support for making their products or to support their further business operations, they make purchases because of that. So business markets differ from consumer markets in terms of nature of the buyers, the buying process and the characteristics of the products or services being purchased. In spite of the fact that in both the cases, in consumer market also and business market also, the purchasing has been done. We are studying consumer behavior, but it is very different from each other because the nature of the buyer here is very different. Consumers are taking the product for their self-consumption. Business market, people are buying, people are making purchases for further operations. The buying process is different. The characteristics and influenced by many factors. The characteristics of the products or services being purchased is quite different. So let's talk about the characteristics of business market. Business market, the first point is derived demand. Now what is derived demand? Demand that influenced by some other thing, right? So demand in business market is derived from customer demand. In case organizations purchase goods and services to meet the demand of their consumers. So for example, if there is an increase in consumer demand for smartphones, smartphone manufacturers will need to purchase more components, raw materials and services from business market to meet their demand. So business markets, the purchases are done on the basis of derived demand. Derived demand is where the demand is derived from some other factor. Now it's a complex buying process. Buying decisions in business markets involve a more complex and structured process compared to consumer markets. Whenever we think of buying anything, we go to the market, consumer go to the market and make a purchase. But in business market, it's not done like this. There is a systematic approach to the entire buying process. So it's a complex buying process. There are many entities who are actually influencing the buying process in business markets. So the decision making unit that we call as DMU in business market is typically composed of multiple individuals representing different functional areas within the organization, and everyone influences the buying process. So the buying process often requires extensive evaluation, negotiations and contractual agreements. Now the third point that talks about larger purchase volumes. When a consumer makes a purchase, he buys 1 unit or 2 unit or 3 unit. Whereas in business markets, when purchases are done, they are very large in volume, right? So this creates an opportunity for supplier to secure long-term contracts and build mutually beneficial relationship with business customers. Professional purchasing. Business buying decisions are usually made by professional buyers or purchasing department within the organization. So these professionals are expert in evaluating suppliers, negotiating contracts and managing the procurement process. So they focus on factors such as quality, reliability, cost, long-term relationship, and then they decide upon purchasing of the products. Then supplier relationships. Building strong and collaborative relationship with supplier is crucial in business markets. Organizations seek supplier who can provide consistent quality, reliable delivery, competitive pricing, and excellent customer service. So supplier relationship often involve long-term contracts, joint development initiatives, and strategic partnerships. So these are certain things that are the basic characteristics of business markets. When we talk about types of business markets, there are different types of business markets like producer market. Producer market consists of organizations that purchase goods and services to produce their own products. Example include manufacturing companies that buy raw materials, components, and machinery to produce finished goods. Reseller market. In reseller market, organizations that purchase products or services with the intention of reselling them to the consumers. Examples are wholesalers, distributors, and retailers who buy products from manufacturers and sell them to consumers. Now coming to government markets. Government markets involve government agencies and departments that purchase goods and services to fulfill their operational needs. Government procurement process often requires suppliers to go through formal bidding processes and more specific criteria. Now coming on to the next point, that is institutional markets. Institutional markets include organizations such as hospitals, schools, universities, and non-profit organizations that purchase goods and services for their internal use. They have specific requirement and may prioritize factors such as quality, safety, and compliance with regulations. Now, business market segmentation. See, segmentation is essential in business market to identify and target specific customer groups, as we had done segmentation in the consumer markets also. So that it is essential in business markets because to identify and target specific customer groups with tailored marketing strategies. Business market segmentation can be based on various factors like industry. Segmenting customers based on industry they operate in, such as manufacturing, healthcare, technology, or retail. Company size, segmenting customers based on their size, such as small and medium enterprises or large corporations. Then according to the geographical location. Segmenting customers based on their geographic locations, such as regional or international markets. And then the buying behavior. Segmenting customers based on their buying behavior, such as you can say relationship focused buyers, innovative buyers, or price sensitive buyers. Now business market buying process. It is similar to the consumer buying process. In business market also we have a buying process, the series of processes that a buyer goes when he makes a decision to make a purchase. The first thing, so when we talk about the business buying process, it involves a series of stages that organization go through when making purchase decisions. The stages are quite similar to consumer buying process but have some different features. Let's discuss one by one. The first is problem recognition. The buying process begins with the recognition of a problem or need within the organization. They can be triggered by factors such as changes in customer behavior, their demand, or development of new product, or the need to replace the existing equipment of suppliers, or the raw material has finished. So the problem recognition is this. Now coming on to information search. Once the problem is recognized, the organization conducts an information search to identify the potential suppliers and gather information about available options. This involves researching supplier capabilities, evaluating product specification, obtaining quotes and seeking recommendations. Now the third point is proposal solicitation. In this stage, the organization invites potential suppliers to submit proposals or bids. In this, the proposals, proposals are invited from the suppliers, and the proposals typically include detailed information about the supplier's offering, pricing, delivery items, details the delivery time and other relevant factors. So the organization evaluate the proposals and shortlist a few. Now supplier selection. The organization evaluate the shortlisted suppliers based on various criteria like the product quality, pricing, reliability, customer service. The decision making unit that we had already spoken about, that is DMU, within the organization assesses the strengths and weaknesses of each supplier and select the most suitable one. So once the supplier has been selected, order routine specification is designed. So once the supplier is selected, the organization specifies the terms of the purchases in an order routine specification, which includes details such as quantity, delivery schedule, payment terms, and any specific requirement or customization needed. Now, the last step, that is performance review, like that of post-purchase behavior only. After the purchase is made, organization evaluate the performance of the chosen supplier. This includes assessing factors such as product quality, delivery timings, customer service, overall satisfaction. The performance review informs future buying decisions and the continuation or termination of supplier relationships. Now, business buyer behavior. Business buyer behavior refers to the actions, motivations and decision making processes of organization when purchasing goods and services. So understanding business buyer behavior is essential for suppliers and marketers so that effectively needs can be met. So when we talk about buying center, it is DMU, as we had already discussed about it, and it's a group of individuals within the organizations who are involved in purchasing decisions. Now in buying center there are different roles. Now what are that roles? First one is initiator. Initiator is the individual or group that recognizes that a need of a purchase is there and initiates the buying process. Then second one is the influencer. This is the individual or group who influences the buying decision by providing information, recommendation or technical expertise. Influencer can include engineers, consultants or other experts. The third one is gatekeeper. They are the individuals who control the flow of information and access to the decision makers within the organization. Gatekeepers can be administrative assistants, managers or other people who filter and manage the information that reaches the decision makers. The next one is deciders, the individual or groups responsible for making the final purchase decision. It can be the top level executives, purchasing managers or specific committees within the organization. And then comes the buyers. Buyers are individuals or groups responsible for negotiating with suppliers, handling the purchasing process and executing the final purchase. Now there are different factors that influences the business buyer behavior. The first one among that is organization culture and objectives. It plays a significant role in shaping the buying behavior. Organization with a focus on innovation may prioritize suppliers who offer cutting-edge solutions, while cost-conscious organization may prioritize suppliers who offer competitive pricing. The next factor is buying situations. Different buying situation can influence the decision making process. For example, new task purchase involve buying a product or service for the first time, while straight rebuy involves purchasing a product or service that the organization has bought before with significant changes, and modified rebuy involves purchasing a similar product or service but with some modifications or changes in the specifications. When we talk about buying criteria, it is the specific criteria that organizations have for evaluating and selecting suppliers. This criteria can be price, quality, reliability, delivery time, discounts, financial stability, technological capabilities. And then comes supplier relationship. The nature of the relationship between the buyer and the supplier plays a crucial role in business buyer behavior. Organizations prefer suppliers with whom they have established long-term relationships, trust, and effective communication channels. The last is the environmental factor, and that is economic conditions, industry trends, government regulations that can influence buyer behavior, business buyer behavior. And during an economic downturn, let's take an example like during an economic downturn, organization may focus on cost cutting measures and prioritize suppliers who offer competitive pricing. So this is all about environmental factors. So thank you so much for that.